All right, next item on our agenda is an ordinance implementing the social host program and fine. Director Ruffcorn, good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
Good.
All right. Mr. Mayor and City Council, the social host ordinance presentation that's going to be presented to you tonight is being brought back to you from our April 24th meeting, where the council asked me to present a new ordinance, possibly be added to the Auburn Municipal Code. Again, representatives from the Placer County Youth Commission, to include Sean Wang, and the Coalition of Auburn and Lincoln Youth, Shelley Rogers and Renee Berger, here to support any questions you may have in regard to the social host ordinance. Social host ordinances give communities a practical tool for holding adults accountable for underage drinking that occurs at house parties. These laws allow law enforcement to cite individuals who hosted these underage drinking parties on their property. More than 150 cities and counties in 24 states have adopted social host ordinances. Roseville and Rockland, here in our own county, have both adopted social host ordinances. Social host ordinances refer to adults who host parties where alcohol is served on a property they control. If they're not there, they can't be cited. If they don't know about the party, they cannot be cited. It's when they're in control. Through social host liability laws, adults can be responsible for these parties if underage people are served, regardless of who furnishes the alcohol. All they have to do is know that their youth are drinking on their property. Teen parties are a primary setting for underage drinking for high school and college students, and high consumption of alcohol and binge drinking. Underage drinking is not just a youth problem, it's also very much an adult problem, with adults who purchase the alcohol for those under age 21 look the other way when teens talk about their drinking exploits and host teenage drinking parties at their homes. Many communities struggle to prevent underage drinking. Holding adults responsible for underage drinking party is a proactive step for concerned communities, but can be difficult. Law enforcement officials are typically not able to determine who provided the alcohol when they arrive at the scene of a teenage drinking party. Therefore, laws that prohibit furnishing alcohol to youth under 21 years old cannot be enforced generally. I want to thank you for allowing us to bring this back to you, and hopefully you'll have some questions that we'll be more than happy to answer in regard to the social host ordinance being presented to you tonight.
Thank you, John. Just a clarification, we had a presentation a few months back from the Youth Commission.
April 24th.
And yourself.
Yes.
And we directed you to bring this ordinance back to us
Yes, sir.
for consideration.
Yes, sir.
And that's what's going on tonight.
That's what's going on
All right,
tonight.
just to frame this for everybody.
Yes.
I'll start to my left this time. Councilwoman Powers.
Thank you. Thanks for all the work you put into it. And so you support this 100%, correct?
Absolutely. This is not giving law enforcement any tools that
Right.
that they don't already have. It doesn't give me the ability to go search any house that I can't already search. All it is giving us some leverage, hopefully an educational tool to our community members that we take this seriously, underage drinking in our community. We have some concerns, and there would be a fine attached to it up to the state limit if you host one of these parties.
Got it. And just with graduations and spending a lot of time with some youth lately, having my nieces graduate, I saw a lot of people talking about parents allowing parties with drinking for graduation parties, and I was appalled by it. So I'm glad to see this happening.
And I hear the same thing, and I've had people come up to me and ask me, well, if I want to have my child drink with me at my house, what's the harm in that? I have no harm in that at all. I just don't want my child drinking at your house unless I give you permission to do that.
Right. Yeah. So thank you.
So how are we going to get the word out to the parents and the students and everybody that need to know about this?
There will be, I hopefully work with the schools. They're off campus right now. Hopefully, this should be established, hopefully with the 30 days. By the time they come back to campus, we'll be able to put it out on our social media platforms. The social media platforms, hopefully the school will put it out to their parents. And again, I saw Miss Singh here from the Auburn Journal. So hopefully her and I can sit down and let people know in our community that this does exist now. And again, that we are taking this seriously because it's truly, we're concerned about the youth in our community.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Berlant.
Understanding that this was only 3 months ago, can you remind us at that meeting? I'm trying to look for the minutes too. Did we? I know, been a lot in between. Did we ask for any additions, changes to it, or what was the reason, or was it just an informational item and now you're bringing it back?
This was just an informational item to gauge the interest of the council. It was a 5-0 vote to bring this back to you. I worked with the city attorney, Gary Bell, and he put this together. I had a few minor alterations that I asked him to add in on after his first pass. But this is consistent with state law and other communities are using.
Okay, thank you.
Councilman Kirby.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to read the last sentence on page P80, where it says, "These changes in ordinances are not being driven by law enforcement, but are being driven by our youth leaders and concerned parents." I believe some of those people are here, correct?
Yes, they are.
Can we recognize them
Yes, I did.
for their efforts? I mean, have them.
They're going to have a chance to come up and,
Oh,
and
good,
speak during
good.
public comment.
Thank you very much, because I'm very impressed by that statement. Want to make sure we did that.
I think we might have covered this at the last presentation, but I'll ask again because I can't recall either. This is a tool that your officers will have when they show up on scene, correct?
Yes.
And then where I'm going with this is it's not monitoring Facebook posts or Snapchat or whatever the other.
I'll be quite honest. If a Facebook post or a Snapchat post was presented to this, we would reach out to them before this ever happened and let them know that these are some of the these are some of the consequences that could happen. So we do that all the time when we hear about if we'd rather be proactive than reactive. This is a reactive tool that provides us the ability to hold adults accountable for allowing underage drinking at the house if they're aware of it.
So that's an important part of this, in my opinion, that the crazy things, I've got 2 teenage daughters, the crazy things that I see on various social media outlets, pictures at parties, whatever, is mind-boggling. And knowing that this tool, if something horrible, God forbid, did happen, could be utilized through those posts to levy a fine, I would imagine.
Yes. And again, it would be going back, if it's after the fact, obviously there has to be an investigation take place. There would have to be, we would have to determine that the parents did know that this was occurring after the fact, which is much more difficult than catching it either up front or during the course of the action.
Got it. Okay. With that, I'm going to go ahead and open up public comment and invite Sally up to provide some input on this subject.
I substituted as an aide on a special ed bus in 2001, and we went up to Forest Hill, dropped off the last kids up there. I moved to the front seat and didn't have to buckle up, but someone upstairs encouraged me to. I buckled up, we get out onto Forest Hill Road, and a drunk driver hit us head on. So I hope that what you're pushing for is, I don't want to see these kids out there driving after drinking.
Thank you.
It scares me.
Thank you. Do we have anybody else in the audience who would like to come up and speak on this item? Any of our youth commissioners out there? You don't have to. You guys did a great job with the first presentation.
Well, the chief told me to be recognized.
Hi, good evening.
Sean Wang is back there.
Yeah.
Future UCLA alum.
Good school.
Good evening, Council. I'm Shelley Rogers, and I'm the director for the Coalition for Auburn and Lincoln Youth. And, I'm just really pleased that the Council is being proactive with this. Our coalition is made up of parents, grandparents, youth, law enforcement, the health sector is involved in our coalition, so many sectors of the community. And, we've done a lot of research. We've looked at, how are these policies working. We know that really sort of as a nation, policies like this are working. Underage drinking rates are starting to decrease. Actually, since for many years, drinking rates are going down, but they're still, when 31% of our 11th graders had reported that they're drinking in the past 30 days, which we see as current and frequent use, we're very concerned about that. We also know that a recent student survey, 71% of Placer County youth had said that alcohol was really very easy for them to access. So access is a huge piece. We also know that when young people begin drinking early, they're 6 times more likely to develop dependence or abuse later in life than people that young people that wait until they're 21. So for all these reasons that I know you all support this, we're very happy to see this come to the council and being considered. And yeah, I have to thank the youth commissioners and Sean, the president, who, he's about ready to head down to UCLA, but their passion for this has been so just enlightening and inspiring. I have heard many of the commissioners, when they're speaking about why this is important to them, why they took this on, really, they shared several examples of how it impacts them. They care about their friends. Many of them know someone who was hurt in a car accident, or a family member that died, or has experienced a lot of crisis in the family from alcohol abuse. And so they shared examples of why it was important for them. And just the fact that he's here tonight, he came and talked about it before, but he's wanting to support this all the way. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Anybody else who wants to speak on this item? Come on, Sean.
Yes, come on.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sean Wang of the Placer County Youth Commission, and I'll just keep this really brief. This has been a kind of a project that's very dear to the Youth Commission's heart for a number of years now, and I've been holding this very close to my heart my entire time here, my entire 2 years, and it makes me really happy and appreciative that you guys have jumped so wholeheartedly into supporting this. Because, again, it is like something that I think it's very important for the health of me and my friends and everyone who I know. But also, I think it's something that a lot of young people, even if they don't really express it as much as, or as much as it gets out there, I think it's something that they really appreciate as well. It's something that I think a lot of people would understand is important, and I like to say that. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sean. Appreciate it. Anybody else want to speak on this item? All right, seeing none, I'm going to go ahead and close public comment, bring it back to the council for a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to move to hold a first reading of the proposed ordinance by title only, authorizing the implementation of a social host program and find consistent and pursuant to state guidelines.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Amy?
Councilmember Kirby.
Aye.
Berlant.
Aye.
Mackey.
Aye.
Powers.
Aye.
Mayor Spokley.
Aye. Thank you again for all the hard work that you and the Youth Commission have put into this. We really do appreciate it. Thank you. John, thank you.